Greetings. Glory to God on the highest, and on earth, peace to people of goodwill. Really quick video here on something I wanted to document and comment on briefly. So last Friday, the We Woke Now channel posted a video in response to Teo Ministries, and I'll link to the full video in the description. But in that hour-long video, something mentioned in passing caught my ear, and it struck me as worth discussing ever so briefly. You see, the good doctor who runs that channel briefly alluded to how he's changed some of his approach to Lashawan Qadash, which is to say his approach to Hebrew pronunciation. And so if we can just jump right in, I'd like to play a couple of brief clips, which together will run for less than 30 seconds. And I'll include the timestamps for where each clip can be found in the original video. And so with that, here we go, and fair use.
And you guys remember, I used to say taza, and corrected myself, and now I say tsa. For in the Israeli, it's pronounced sare. Now, as I made some adjustments based upon my studies of the ancient language, the ayan did not make an I sound, it actually made an ah sound. So you hear me say Yahweh Shah.
Okay, so there you have it. Basically, the good doctor was saying that he used to pronounce the 16th Hebrew character, the ayin, as I, like in pie, but now he pronounces it ah. And he used to pronounce the 18th Hebrew character, the tzade, as taza, but now he pronounces it tza. And I'll be the first to say that he deserves at least a little bit of applause for that, as Taza in particular is like a major Achilles heel to Lashawan Qadash. So points to the good doctor for finally understanding that. But here's a question that should be asked. How did he arrive at those former positions to begin with, right? In other words, the good doctor's claim has long been that he arrived at his position on Hebrew from his own personal studies. So that raises the question, what made him once think that the character was pronounced Taza in the first place, right? How did he initially arrive at that idea? And I think the answer is pretty clear. It's the same answer to the question of why he employs this curious diacritic. You see, this is a video he put up just last October 26th, so less than 2 months ago. And notice that little line that appears twice, connecting two letters. Now, where did he get that idea, right? Where did he get the idea that this diacritic is part of Paleo-Hebrew? And for those who don't know, that's a One West diacritic. One West developed it to clarify when a character is unvocalized. And this shows that the good doctor clearly took his ideas about Hebrew from One Westers or others influenced by One West. And just as that's the obvious explanation for his use of this One West diacritic, so too it's the obvious explanation for why he once thought that tzadeh was pronounced taza, or why he thought the ayin is simply pronounced I, like in pie. You know, there was never a time where the good doctor was doing his own private research of ancient Hebrew and independently arrived at, reasonable grounds for thinking that tzadeh is pronounced taza, right? He simply copied that from One West. But nonetheless, Kelly continues to slightly tweak what he took from One West, so now he's evolved away from pronouncing the tzadeh as taza. But another question remains, at least for me, and that is, what about his tendency to pronounce the 19th character as qua? Does the good doctor still think that character is pronounced qua? And if so, on what grounds does he conclude such, right? How did he reach that conclusion? You see, by adopting One West's approach to Hebrew, yet changing their approach to quote-unquote taza and I, while retaining the qua, the doctor is basically going down a path which was traveled by Judah Natsara and Quana Lawa before him, right? You see, they too adopted and adapted Lashawan Qadash, and they too were able to see that rendering the 18th character as taza was ridiculous, yet neither of them thought to question pronouncing the 19th character as qua. And that raises a question, why, right? What connects One West, Judah Natsara, Quana Lawa, and Dr. Kelly Richardson on their common approach to the 19th character of the Hebrew alphabet, right? Popularly called Kof. And the answer is English. English is what connects all of them. They're all thoroughly influenced by their own Anglophone background. English speakers see that character connected to the Latin character, which is called Q in English, and their minds just naturally think a qua sound, right? Because most English words which start with the letter Q are pronounced that way, right? You can think of question or quiz or quad or whatever, right? And that's why guys like Judah Natsara and Quana Lawa, and now the good Dr. Kelly Richardson, can see a problem with taza, but not think to question qua. it's because Kwa seems so natural to their thoroughly Anglophone minds, right? To their English frame of reference. And aside from that, they're also under the impression that the only other alternative is that it would be pronounced the same as the 11th character, the Kaf. And this is where it might be helpful to try to consider classical Arabic, right? To try to view this through an Arabic lens rather than an English lens.
قاف
Or to even consider a language like Tigrinya, right?
ق قو قي قا ق ق قا.
But perhaps that's a discussion for another time. Whatever the case, in the interest of charity, I think the good doctor should be commended for at least jettisoning the one West Taza and I, right? You know, we're all on different learning curves, some more quickly or more slowly than others. But whatever the case, I commend the good doctor for at least making it this far, and hopefully he can next move away from the Kwa and then make the more significant move away from this idea that each Hebrew character has only one possible vocalization. In other words, you know, get away from this idea of limiting the language to just A-class vowels, right? To think more deeply about what the ancient transliterations tell us, what they imply, and maybe even to consider Ugaritic for insight, right? But with that, I'll close this video here. Share your thoughts, and God bless.
I'm so sick and tired. I'm so sick and tired of you all trying to tell us to take 2 or 3 brothers to somebody who we talk to behind the scenes who just a liar. And I told you from day one what Kelly told me about the language, how he'll make up a language to move people away from the Ashkenaz language. That's why he speak Klingon. That's why he speak Klingon. And y'all be following him. I'm like, I don't speak Klingon, right? Y'all be tripping. I'm sorry.
And where Lashawan Qadash falls within that spectrum. And I don't even know why they keep mentioning that with that, but I have no clue about that. But yeah.